Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Praise Daily. All week long, we are looking at Jonah chapter 4, and so that's what we're going to do today. Now, we see in Jonah chapter 4 that Jonah is angry enough to die multiple times. And it would be easy for us to look at this chapter and call Jonah a baby. It would be easy for us from afar to think that we're better than Jonah. In reality, thankfully, many of us will never have to know what it's like to be in exile. We will never have to know what it's like to have another country come through, kill our friends and family, and relocate us somewhere else in the world. We'll never have to know what that's like. But the odds are that in Jonah's time, the general perspective from God's people would have been the same thing that Jonah thought about those who lived in Nineveh. So instead of continuing to belittle Jonah, as fun as it may be, I want us to turn this question back around on ourselves. God asked Jonah in verse 9 this question: Jonah, is it right for you to be angry because this plant died? Now, if you missed it in the story, this was the moment where Jonah is outside the city. It's hot, and so God causes this shade plant to grow to shield Jonah from the sun. But then God also causes a worm to come and eat said plant, leaving Jonah once again miserable enough that he asks God if he can die. So God asked Jonah this question: Jonah, is it okay for you to be sad about this plant and not about Nineveh? And now the answer to this for us is obviously a big no. Like, come on, Jonah, don't you desire God's plan over your personal opinions and comfort? But that's the question for you and me to pause on today. Do I desire my own personal comfort and opinions over the will of God for the world around me? Probably. We don't have to be perfect, though, for God to use us. Like, just ask Jonah. My hope, though, is that we would take the time to pause and wrestle with this same question that God asks Jonah. Do I love? How can I today love the way that God loves? Who can I show love to today that I would normally pass by? God cares so much more about people than he does plants. So do I. Now let's take a deep breath. The good news about this is that this love that God has for people is not something that we have to just produce, right? Instead, this is something that as we spend time with God, asking his love to move through us, this is something that God does inside of us. It's our love for others is really a byproduct of us spending time with a God who loves us tremendously. And so I want you to take some time today to really pause and ask yourself the question: do I love the way that God loves? Do I love the people that God loves? Because if there's one thing that Jonah reminds us of chapter after chapter after chapter, is that God came to save and to love us and them. Thank you for joining me again today. Now go love like God loves.